Welcome, everyone. So here we are today with Salgata. We're going to be talking about a wonderful project that it's a moonshot, as we're calling those visionary, dreaming big projects to really create impact in the world. If this is the first session you're joining, welcome. If you have been already with us throughout the week, great. It's great to have your energy here with us. We're going to be doing here, I'm really having a conversation with Salgata. He's going to be sharing with us about his project. And of course, that you can make questions, comments on the chat below, so we can also make it more interactive. So for now, welcome, Salgata. I'm so excited to have you here with us today. I mean, you've been part of this community already for some years. We love to see what you have created inside Essilor. And the invitation here is really, if you could start first by sharing a little bit about yourself so that we get a sense of you and why are you doing this work and why you're inside Essilor. And after that, if you can specifically go into EyeMitra. What is EyeMitra? How did this initiative start? And what are you doing to impact the world in a positive way?
So first of all, thank you, Flor. Thank you so much for having me here. And it's a pleasure to be part of this Global Entrepreneur Week, and very happy to share some of my experiences in the last almost close to a couple of decades. So, well, brief introduction. I am Saugat Banerjee. I am based out of Singapore. I am part of the Essilor Luxottica company. Been there for the last 18 plus years now, quite a long time. To be honest, when I joined the company way back in 2004, I never thought that I will become an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur at some point in time. I was very young. This opportunity came, seemed very interesting, and I just took it. But yeah, like one thing led to another, and then here I am sitting and trying to share some of my experiences as my entrepreneurship journey in the last 18 plus years. It has been a very fulfilling, almost close to a couple of decades. And to be honest with you, I consider myself to be very lucky that I have had this opportunity of creating things from scratch, not only in this company, but even in my previous assignments before I joined Essilor Luxottica 18 years back. So to that extent, I really consider myself to be very lucky that I have always been able to create something new, be part of something which is probably not done before. Of course, it has its own pluses and minuses, because when you try to create something new, it doesn't come easy. So, if I have to
share more of the how it doesn't come easy, but for now, let's start. Yeah, for sure, I'm gonna ask questions on that. But yeah, just curious. I guess, yes, on the project, and maybe if you can also share the origin of it, as you're sharing now, because it's wonderful. You said you had the opportunity to start from scratch. So, yeah.
So, I mean, my first job, so when I landed up in this organization, my first job, just out of my business school, I was given a map of a particular location. I had never even heard of the name of that place, and a very, very flimsy business plan. And my boss told me that, okay, Saugat, you can take the bus, go to this place, and you get going. And to be honest, it was a shock for me, because when you are in college, you are in a very protected environment. I mean, everything is very structured. You have professors to look up to, you have seniors to advise you. Now, when you step into the real world, all those things are gone. So that's how I kind of started my journey, with a few pages of a document and a place where I have never been, never even heard of that place. So yeah, I mean, that's, and then of course, one thing led to another. I was able to do my assignment very successfully, and then I moved on to, not if I focus specifically onto what I started in SLR, I mean SLR Logotica way back in 2004. So that time there was no EyeMitra, of course. Uh, there was we started with a small experiment which used to call mobile refraction van. So the idea was, how do we reach out to people in the villages and help them to see the world better, because that was the mandate which the company had given me at that point in time. Of course I had no clue, how do I go to villages and ensure people get a pair of glasses and they are able to see well. After thinking about it for some time, talking to different people, of course there was not many case studies to look at, or not many examples. I'm talking almost 20 years back. But of course, using my previous experiences, I came up with this idea of, why not try something which is mobile, which can travel to different villages and then help people to get access to glasses. It took me almost 1.5 years to get the first project rolled out. But yes, it started working. We were getting results. But then the reason why I thought about this EyeMitra program was that during one of this field visit which I was undertaking, wherein I used to generally go and see how this van is working. What are the I mean, does it really help people? What are the views of people who come to the van to avail the glasses? What are their reactions? So in one of those field visits, I came across an old lady. She must be around 65, 70 years of age, cannot see well. And we helped her to get her first pair of glasses. And she was like so happy. She went around hugging us. And like she was like a motherly figure for us. And she went around hugging us, saying that, you guys have changed my life. I mean, this is some many years back, and I still get goosebumps when I think of that incident. She was actually abandoned by her family because she couldn't see well, and then people had no clue what to do with her. So she was living in a temple and basically somehow managing to survive. Now, when I was coming back, I was thinking that, okay, this lady was able to get access to vision because the van went there. What would have happened if the van did not go there, or if the lady had not come on that particular day when the van was there? Because the van is not going to be there forever. What will happen then? So how will people get access to glasses? How will they get a good vision? So then the idea came to me that, why not look at something which is more permanent in nature, which is part of the community, and which stays there forever. We create it, we help it to come to a particular stage, and then it continues on its own. Like, it becomes part of the overall community as such. And that's how this whole genesis of EyeMitra happened, where we train unemployed or underemployed rural youth. We bring them to a classroom where they undergo a very structured and very systematic training, after which we help them to become micro entrepreneurs, wherein they set up a small optical shop in the community, because they belong to the community. So their acceptance in the community is very high, which is also a very important factor when we work in this kind of areas. And then they in turn help the people in their community to get access to good vision at a very affordable price. At the same time, these youths are also able to take care of their livelihood. Because, in most of this, and this of course started with India, now it is in many other countries, but there is also a very major issue of unemployment in India, and specifically in the rural areas. People are mostly into agriculture, or they move out to the larger cities where they do different kinds of jobs. So there are a large number of people who really want to be in their villages. They don't want to migrate because they have family, they have other relatives. So this also helps them to stay in their community, help the community, as well as earn a, earn a good livelihood, because they are entrepreneurs. They are not dependent on anybody. They can become as big as they want to become, because for any entrepreneurs, sky is the limit. And so this is how the whole thing started. And today, I'm very happy to say that we have more than 8,000 such entrepreneurs working in India. If not for the last 2.5 years of COVID, we would have easily crossed 10,000 as we speak. And they in turn have provided access to more than 200 million people, which is not a small number. I mean, although the country's population is 1.3 billion, but giving quality, affordable glasses 200 million people in the last 8-10 years of this project being in operation is a phenomenal achievement. And of course, looking at the success of India, we have now taken it to other countries, Bangladesh, Kenya, Indonesia, and we also now plan to take it to few other countries as well, because there is good vision is required everywhere, whichever place we talk about. So yeah, in a nutshell, this is what the program is all about. And as you can see in the pictures, it kind of takes you through the journey of like what I was mentioning, the classroom. Is you see that the joy and the happiness on their faces is seen to be believed in terms of how much they associate themselves with this program and how much they see that this is a kind of a life-changing incident in their lives.
Thank you. Super clear. And of course, as you say, there is the impact, of course, on the vision of people that didn't have access to glasses, but also in the micro entrepreneurs in the rural villages. I'm just really curious, how did you structure this from a business perspective? Is this really making money? And how did you invest as Essilor to set this up? Can you share more about like how it's structured as a business?
Well, you know, in Essilor Luxottica, we have, I mean, we earlier also we had, but now we have kind of put all our different charitable organization under a foundation which is called the One Sight Essilor Luxottica Foundation. This is the largest vision care foundation in the world as we speak. And this foundation actually helps me and my team to create these access points. So in our internal discussion, we call them as sustainable access points, because sustainable because they are there, they are not going to go away anytime soon. An access point because it gives an access to good vision. So the foundation helps us to provide us the initial capital in terms of whatever cost is required to create these access points. And then we also provide them almost a kind of a hand holding for 6 to 8 months. And then these points becomes viable. I mean, these guys are able to manage their own livelihood by selling of glasses, by doing vision screening events around the place where they live. And that's how it works. So we have not really looked at it from a pure business angle, to be honest with you. It is business, of course, because at some point in time, it is also helping to create new consumers. For people who don't wear glasses today, going forward, they get access to they get access to glasses, they start to wear glasses, and then they become part of this whole population who is wearing glasses and seeing value in that. So it's not pure business, if I may say so. It's also about as Essilor Luxottica, our goal is to help people see more and be more. So that's where we are progressing. And it is very much, I mean, if I have to say, it is very much in the DNA of the company to ensure that nobody in this world is devoid of good vision, because for us, we consider good vision as a basic human right. So that's how it is, in a nutshell, is structured.
Yeah, I love how you're sharing. In the end, we always talk about what is the purpose of the organization. And here clearly is living up to that purpose in a creative way, where you do need some support, investment, more philanthropic capital in a way, to have some patient capital to get that installed. But the beauty of running it as a social enterprise business that can self-sustain. And as you're saying, yeah, there is a return. I guess here, Global Intrapreneur Week is a lot around how to start these initiatives and how to structure them to scale. So thinking on your journey as an entrepreneur throughout all these years, can you share like some of the key moments? Because I mean, you just shared one, which was when the idea was clear to you, which was just like, oh my God, if this woman had this ongoing, people like her would have access to this all day. So clearly that was the seed of EyeMitra. And I'm just wondering then, in all this journey, what were key moments, or I like to call them pivotal moments,
So I mean, like you rightly mentioned, the first was the incident that happened when the van was in the village and when I came across the lady. So that was the genesis of the whole idea. But it took me a good 2 years or two, or maybe more than that, almost close to 3 years for from the inception of the idea to the actual execution on the ground. So three full years I had to, in a way, struggle, not because any lack of support from the company. Company was very, very supportive, and even today we get every possible support that we can think of. But it's one thing to have an idea, and it is another thing to get all the ingredients ready so that the idea can be actually executed. So it took me 3 years. We had the first batch of the EyeMitra, and it had only 7 students. When we first got the 7 students, and in due course that 7 became 40, I realized that yes, this is possible. Because if 7 can become 40 in a span of, I think, 4 to 5 months, I was quite confident this 40 can become 400 if we pursue this, if we take this in the right direction. So that was again a very, very key moment. So when you start 0, 7, 40, and then you can keep moving. And the other thing is that because I personally spent a lot of time in the field, interacting with the EyeMitras, spending time in the training center, talking to the students who is undergoing training and who wants to become an EyeMitra. I just came back from Bangladesh. I was there for a week, and almost 4 days I was traveling in the different areas, spending time with the training center, students, EyeMitras. So when you do all these things, you get to hear a lot of real life stories. So I'm not many years back, I think it was 2012 or somewhere, I came across a lady EyeMitra who was a divorcee, and believe me, in the Indian rural context, being a divorcee is not an easy thing to carry on with life. It's very, very tough. And she was, of course, quite helpless, no source of income, not much of family support. She became an EyeMitra. From word of mouth, she came to know from somebody that there is this program. She became a EyeMitra, and then, of course, no prizes for guessing. Her life turned for the better, and once she started her the micro entrepreneurs, small optical shop, she started gaining confidence. And then when I was speaking to her, I could sense the confidence level. And this was like in the very initial part of the program. And to be honest, I was not at all at that point in time. Also, I was not feeling that one day we will have 8,000, 10,000, and we will take it to different countries, because it was still very initial stage. So when I could see that what is the real impact in a person's life this program can bring about, it gave me a lot of confidence. It allowed me to present this program to my bosses in the company with a lot of conviction. And of course, my team, we had a very small team in those days. They were also very, very convinced and very excited, because it was an extremely backbreaking exercise for us to get this program off the ground and ensure that it goes. So this was another incident which really made me think and made me convinced that, yeah, it's possible, and it really helps. In fact, today, because of that incident, today, give or take, almost 15-20% of our EyeMitras are female. And as we speak, we are doing another experiment where we are having a training center in India, which has got all females. So the trainer is a female, the mobilizer is a female, there is a counselor is a female, and all students in the classroom are going to be female. So we want to do and see how does it work? What additional impact it makes, because there is always a saying that the rural areas, finding women entrepreneurs is a tough ask. We want to prove this wrong and say that no, we can find a lot of women entrepreneurs, and they are no way lesser competent or efficient than a male entrepreneurs. And in my personal experience, I have seen a lot of EyeMitras, and I have always found the women entrepreneurs to be much better than their male counterparts. So these are, 3-4 incidents which comes to my mind, which really helped us to push it to the next level.
I was thinking as you're sharing, such an important point around not being inside the office and just being there on the ground. No, because I think like a lot of what it's so important, right? That is where you're getting the insights. That is where you're getting the stories. And actually, as you're saying, even your own confidence as an entrepreneur, that this makes sense because it does require an effort to move things around. So that clarity. But one thing that strikes me as well is 2 times already you said, I didn't expect these to be thousands. So what was that journey? Because I mean, you've just created one of the biggest rural networks for vision care in the world. So I'm just curious, how did that unfold for you? Because we many times hear of entrepreneurs. I mean, we have this picture that you go there and you have this vision and dream, and then you start it. But in your case, it's so interesting as you're saying, well, I was testing stuff. Can you share, when did this become like, well, this can really scale? When did that clarity come to you?
Initially, when we did the first few batches, I had kept it very low profile. I was not allowing it to get too much visibility within the company because I wanted to first see how is it progressing? Is it going to give me the due results? Because some of my bosses were very, very gung-ho about it, and they wanted to come and see. I said, no, hold on. Let me do the pilot. So after, I think about a year and a half or two, we were having a sales conference back in Bangalore. So there are some almost 600, 700 colleagues of mine sitting in a huge conference room, and I was tasked to make a small presentation on what I used to handle other conventional business, but for this particular thing, I was supposed to make a small presentation. So what I did, I had made a small video of an EyeMitra. And the same lady EyeMitra whom I was referring to, who was a divorcee and then became an EyeMitra, and her life changed. And I said that, okay, instead of slides, people get fed up of seeing slides. I will just show this 3-minute video. So I I just showed that video. After 3 minutes, there was absolute pin drop silence in that hall. 700 people, pin drop silence, and I could actually see a few people in tears. And when I saw what is the impact that this has made and these are all hardcore business guys, huh? These are all hardcore business people. To move them emotionally is not a joke. It takes a lot of real hard work. Unless it touches their heart, they cannot be moved. That made me convinced that, okay, first of all, this is something which is important for the company. It is important for the community, and it resonates very well with the business guys because they see value in what we are doing. They really want to be part of it. That kind of made me, after that point in time, I started to kind of make it open to everybody. That is, please come visit the program, spend some time with the EyeMitra, see what is happening. And then, of course, to be honest with you, we were doing a business planning exercises, and then we were thinking that, okay, what will we do in 10 years time? So I said, okay, 10 years, 2020, we will create 10,000 EyeMitra. Now, maybe I was a fool, I don't know, but that number came to my head that, okay, come 2020, we will have 10,000 EyeMitras. And of course, there was a lot of support from the company, which I mentioned earlier. So my bosses were like very supportive, colleagues were very supportive. So then things started to move on their own. Today, if you ask me, this whole EyeMitra has a life of its own. If I stop doing it, or if does not mean that it will stop. It has its own life. It will carry on. At least the 10,000 who are working, nobody can stop them. It will carry on forever.
So looking at it right now, now into the future, because I love that you said, well, some time ago I said, well, 10,000. So what is the call to action? What is the invitation? What is your dream? You're saying, okay, EyeMitra is here, it's there. So what next?
See, we have again a couple of years back, we took a kind of a pledge as a company that we will eliminate poor vision in one generation. So that is so one generation, give or take, is 30 years. So our pledge is that by 2050, we will create so many sustainable access points across the world that every individual can get access to good vision by traveling maximum one day. So that's the moonshot, if I may borrow your phrase. That's what we are gunning for. And in terms of call to action, if you ask me, see, this journey we cannot travel alone. We need partners. We need more like-minded organization entities, because although EssilorLuxottica has taken this pledge or this responsibility, because we are the largest vision care company, we have the largest vision care foundation across the world, but still we need partners. We need many such like-minded organization, entities, individuals. So, I mean, to give you a few examples, not recently, a couple of years back, we partnered with MetLife Foundation. MetLife Foundation had nothing to do with vision care. But when we explained to them the EyeMitra program, they were so enthused that they came forward. They said, okay, let's do it in Bangladesh. So now we have almost 1,000 EyeMitras working in Bangladesh with collaboration with MetLife. We are working on a collaboration with USAID in Africa, where there are, in a particular country, there are a lot of women who are battling with HIV. Can we help them to become EyeMitra so that they can earn a livelihood, which will probably help them to get out of this? So if one thing which I would like to highlight to all my fellow entrepreneurs here is that please feel free to reach out to us. We are always open to having partnership, because this is a journey which we can't do alone, and we don't think we can achieve what we have set ourselves to achieve if we are alone.
Thank you, Saugata. So important now, and it came in this week so many times. If we do this collectively, it will be so much easier for all of us. So just some departing words. And I always like to finish with, loads of experience, years and years of being an intrapreneur. What are your key learnings, if you have to leave some food for thought?
Well, the first and foremost is that be as close to the ground as possible. That has been my cornerstone in my whatever assignments I have done. My learning has been more working in the field, in the community, with the EyeMitras or these kind of people. So we need to spend as much time as possible in the field, seeing ourselves what is happening. It's tough. It's very, very difficult thing to do, because if you ask me, I'm sitting in an aircon room doing my slides. It's very comfortable. But if I have to travel in the villages, it's not easy. But that's the most important thing we need to do. The second is we need to test and learn rigorously, because we should not be afraid of testing new things. I have tested many things which have failed. Even today, I test few things. If I try 10 things, maybe 2-3 things will work. Rest of the things will not work. But that does not mean that we stop testing. And when we test very, very rigorously. We see every possible angle that could go wrong or that may not work. So that's something which is very important in terms of, and again, at the cost of repetition, either we partner or we perish. Because these kind of journeys cannot happen alone. Because you look around, any successful initiative which has a large impact is not done by one individual or one organization or one company for that matter. There will be multiple players who come together, and with that collective might, they can do wonders.
Thank you. So words of wisdom, and we are exactly on time. So thank you so much. I'm sure you've inspired lots of people, and hopefully some partnerships and collaborations may come from this. So thank you.